When the history of our beloved country Kenya is written one day in the future, the date November 17th, 2017 will be a very important day. Indeed, a day that will require a chapter on its own. In my view, the most important thing that this day, November 17th, Friday, confirmed is that Kenya is on the throes of a full-blown revolution. Kenya is going through the painful pangs of childbirth, okay? And the child to be born is the new Kenya. Now, before a child is born, a mother goes through some very dark moments where they almost want to give up, where there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of blood, yeah, before the joy of the newborn comes. Now, you'll remember in an earlier recording I told you that the fact that people ignored a very, very strong appeal, yeah, a very powerful appeal to go to the polls, vote, and let things go back to normal, yeah. In other words, the vast majority of Kenyans, most of them very poor, many of them living hand to mouth, yeah, said no, we want to continue suffering for a better future for our Kenya and for a better future for our children. Remember I told you the fact that that had happened, although was a good thing, was also a dangerous thing. I'm sure you remember that. Now today on full live television, we saw ordinary citizens taking in live bullets from the police. Now we all know a live bullet is death, yeah? But what we saw on TV, if it was somebody making a movie, yeah, people would say that movie is not realistic. People don't react like this, yeah? The correct reaction is to run for your life. But we didn't see youths running for their lives. The most we saw maybe is taking cover. But these youths were not scared. They were not scared of death. In other words, these young Kenyans were ready to die. Now, my friends, if that is not a full-blown revolution, I have absolutely no idea what that word means. You know, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Yeah? The Jubilee government and its advisors, I just don't get it at all. What is the end game here? Huh? Tell me. What is the end game of the Jubilee government here? Okay? Now, any casual analyst, any casual advisor, yeah, would have been able to tell the government, play down this thing of Raila arriving, keep the police away, yeah, and avoid confrontation with the public. Now, the usual rhetoric of protecting property, protecting innocent Kenyans does not fly when these police confront people in the wilderness of Mombasa Road, yeah, where there's just open spaces, yeah, of grass and so on and so forth, yeah, or maybe perhaps they were protecting the wild animals. Gosh, although the wild animals are not even there, I just don't get it. Now, if as an advisor to the Jubilee government, there are various very small things that I've done which would have diffused this thing, yeah, and taken away all the steam from it, yes, and they would have managed to achieve a lot and come out looking better to the whole world, but they missed the opportunity. Let me give you a simple example. What do you think would have happened if President Uhuru Kenyatta had gone to the airport and welcomed Raila? Just think about it for a moment. It may sound like a crazy idea, but just think about it for a moment. It would have just diffused everything, yeah? And it would have taken the steam out of the NASA match. Instead, what did the Jubilee government do? They played right into the hands of NASA. Right into their hands. NASA scored their political points, especially where the international community is concerned. And as the Americans say, and then some. And then they got more points than what even they were supposed to have scored. Live bullets being used against demonstrators. Where did they... Indeed, as we speak, as I make this recording, there are 5 families grieving, waiting to bury their loved one. Oh boy. And as we have seen in recent times, the numbers reported, you always have to multiply them by 3 or more to get the correct number. Yeah? But so far, 5 deaths confirmed. All from bullets, police bullets. Now, conveniently, one of those youths shot. We were told that, he was shot near the police vehicle which was burnt, police lorry which was burnt. Yes. It is suspected that he was one of the people burning the police lorry. Okay? Now, just hold on a minute. What is more precious? Is it a police lorry or a human life? Now, it seems in Kenya nowadays, human life is not as precious as police equipment, police lorries. Yeah? Oh boy. I think it is very clear the Jubilee government has just lost it. They've lost the plot. Yeah? And I think, I'm very certain, yeah, from what we have seen today, that really these are the last legs of the Jubilee government. Yeah? It is on its way out. That should be very obvious. Now, there are a few things worth noting. There were shots fired at Raila Odinga's car. Okay? And the government has very strongly denied that that was not an attempt on his life. So my next question is, why were bullets fired at Raila's car? Yeah? Was he planning to loot some businesses in town? Because we have been told, and the government is on record, that they shoot looters. Yeah, they're on record. I'm not saying anything which is a rumor. I'm not picking news from the air. It is on the record. I mean, just check all the news reports since this election business started. Yes, and the fracas has started. And you'll hear, we shot so-and-so, they were trying to loot a shop. We shot so-and-so, they were caught looting. Yeah? So the punishment in Kenya now, for any would-be looters, is shoot on sight. Yeah, that is clear. Of course, somebody somewhere has conveniently forgotten that we have a constitution. We have laws in our country which say that somebody should have due process. Even if you murder somebody else, you're not going to be killed on the spot. You're not going to be shot at the police station. Or leta bunduki. Pa! No, it doesn't happen that way. He has to go through due process. Even when there are millions of witnesses, they still have to go through due process. They go to court. There's a lawyer to defend them. Yeah, they may be taken through psychiatric examination to tell whether is this guy in his right mind when he did this, blah blah blah. That's what's supposed to happen. But it seems through the back door, the law in Kenya changed. Looters are shot on sight. Now these looters, there's a very big question mark here, because looters in quotes, because a lot of these shootings, there's enough evidence to prove that there was no looting involved. Indeed, we have seen on TV cameras, yeah, we have seen live on TV, looters getting away scot-free. And of course, I'm talking about the Nairobi business community, yeah. So that is another story, yet another story from the Jubilee government. Anyway, back to my point. Why were shots fired at Raila Odinga's car? Was he trying to loot? Was there somebody inside the car who was seen trying to loot some shops or something? And that is why I was asking, what is the end game here? Isn't there nobody in Jubilee who has read history? Sincerely, I'm not talking about reading history at a very advanced level for a university degree or something. I'm not even talking about reading history in a high school. I'm talking about just reading history for your own interest. Yeah? This happened in a certain country. There was violent protests. What followed? Yeah? This is in the newspapers. What happened in the Arab Spring? Yeah? Oh boy. Folks, I believe Kenya is just a mix-up country. Now, I just want to give one example what I mean. Yeah? Because it seems that we're a mixed-up country where there are different laws for different people. Okay? If you're Raila Odinga, there are different laws that apply to you. If you're Raila Odinga and his supporters, different laws apply to you. If you're Uhuru Kenyatta and the supporters, completely different laws apply to you. Okay? Now, many people have been quoting this example, so I'll just repeat it. In October 2013, I believe, when Uhuru Kenyatta was coming back from The Hague, yes, the Internal Security Minister then, Ole Lenku, yes, issued a statement welcoming his supporters, inviting his supporters to welcome the president at the airport. okay, and he was welcomed from the airport, and there were no riot police there. There were no people trying to stop the people from welcoming the president. Yes, there were no looters being shot. Yeah, the whole thing was peaceful. Then now Raila Odinga wants to be welcomed to the country. It is illegal. Anyway, I think very soon things will become very clear to Kenyans, because we're not even talking about Jubilee and NASA here. We're just talking about governance. We're talking about common sense. Okay? Now, it's very interesting that during the Moi era, Kenneth Matiba was coming back from the country. This was an opposition leader. Yes, he had gone there for treatment after Moi had detained him. And as a result of this detention, Kenneth Matiba suffered a stroke, which has never recovered to this day. And he had gone to London for treatment. So when he came back, there was a very big welcome party for him at the airport. Moi did not send riot police. Moi did not send people to try and clamp down on the people welcoming Matiba. And by the way, you know, that time the opposition was united. Yeah, we can't say that the only Kikuyus welcoming Matiba. There were people from all walks of life, from all tribes in Kenya, going to welcome Matiba at the airport. Yeah. Now you could say many things about that mzee called Moi. Yeah, he was a dictator. Yes, you could say a lot of things about him, but at least the things he did, they made sense. Yeah, what the Jubilee government is doing does not make any sense. Please, I stand to be corrected. It does not make any sense to me. I see I've already taken so much time just venting. Let's get into the real news, or let's get into the real analysis in the next part of this recording. You know the usual drill. Click on the link on your top left hand side of the screen, and you'll be on to part 2 of this recording. This is Chris Kumekucha. See you there in a bit.